Alright, hello. So, time will start when I hit normal difficulty. On go in 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is Bayonetta. The game's gonna open up in a auto-scrolling segment, so I can't make it go faster or anything like that. So a lot of this is just sitting and waiting. But I'll be playing as the character Jeanne. Jeanne plays differently than Bayonetta because she is I wouldn't say harder character to play, but she has a lot of variations that adjust how you fight in this game. So this game is a hack and slash game, which means that combat is comprised of punches and kicks, which will lead into a combo.
European clans who served as overseers.
At the end of the combo, you're going to see like a bunch of hands and feet appear on screen. Those are basically combo finisher moves. Those are called Wicked Weaves. And because I'm playing Jeanne, my Wicked Weaves are going to be dealing 50% more damage. As a trade-off, though, I take 50% more damage from enemies as well. So, paired with not getting any HP upgrades during the speedrun, you have to be a little careful in a lot of fights because I can die pretty quickly. In this game, you have a system where you have evading. Now, these evades give you invulnerability while you're in the animation. And for Bayonetta, the main character in this game, she will get a mechanic called Witch Time when she evades before an attack is made. As a trade-off, Jeanne, for dealing more damage, she has to get Witch Time reactionarily by reacting to like a tenth of a second after you get hit. You can't evade right before an attack ends. And whenever you do evade the attack, you will transform into a bunch of moths, like that. Can't get Witch Time in the segment with this auto scroll. That's what it would normally look like.
In the Umbra Witch's favor.
There's quite a few enemies you're going to see along this game. The small enemies that are chasing after me and trying to hit me, they are called affinities. And you're seeing a few other angels in the background during the segment. That is a sneak peek for a future boss fight. His name is Fortitudo. It's a very intricate design, very impressive.
Victory was short-lived. Fearing the witch's dark abilities, humans began to condemn the remaining Umbra.
The game's going to pick up pretty quickly as we get to the next section.
Rounding up the battle-weary witches with little resistance and subjugating those who wished to continue the struggle. Human faith in the miracles of their god pushed the witch hunts further, and soon the Umbra witches, keepers of the darkness,
you're also going to see me not have the ability to launch the Wicked Weave in the next segment. That doesn't last for long, thankfully, so I'm going to opt to use a very specific attack that is called the Ragdoll attack. The Ragdoll attack is where I will walk up to an enemy, uppercut them, snatch them out of the air, and then I will try to kick an enemy into another affinity or any other angels, or I'll kick them into like a wall or something. Knocking angels into walls deals contact damage. Right here, grab them. That is the grab. And we do our best to play a little bit of bowling. He just tanks it because he feels like it. And here we have this enemy next to a wall. Spin kick. Completely obliterates his entire health. Alright. So we dispatch those affinities. We have an introduction to an enemy called the Decoration. There's little floating heads with wings. There's a little bit of AI manipulation with staring at the ground that makes them want to float towards me. Line myself up to kill these on spawn, which frees up the spawn pool so the 3 other affinities can spawn. That one, knock him into the wall, dispatch of him pretty quickly. And below my health bar, you see these little orbs? That's my magic meter. When my magic meter is full, I can come to this new enemy called the Applaud with that health bar, completely deplete it, and he is really quick using a torture attack. A lot of the sections where I do a torture attack is very deliberate. Not really going to use them too often because it's quite slow, as I'm only going to be killing one target and it has a pretty lengthy animation. I get through the end of this first verse with full magic meter, because this next segment, time is dictated by me doing 3 torture attacks. So I will do my best to gain as much magic as possible by punching and kicking and holding down the buttons. When I hold down the buttons, it shoots a bunch of bullets, and I can do that during any punch and or kick, for any attack. And as you'll see in future weapons in the run, I can do that for all those weapons. And this game does have a really cool mechanic where you can maintain your combo, such as a punch, kick, and punch, while you're evading. So I'd press punch, hold the button, evade, press kick, hold the button, evade, and then press punch again.
Such a disappointment.
That is a very fun mechanic in this game, which is called a dodge offset. Alright, introduction to a section in between every single level called Angel Attack. Press the A button 7 times, skip through that. We will do that 1 time during the whole speed run at the end of Chapter 5. Moving on to Chapter 1, Angels of Metropolis. A little bit of movement here. Punching when I jump into the air to reduce my height. And here, punch, kick, punch. Angel weapon. Animation cancel, pick that up. You can pick up angel weapons while moving in this game. Here's the first skip of the game. Skipping through that saves us a good 30 seconds, because we skip an entire fight. It would rebuild its statue, we would get witch time, and then walk on the water. But we can just jump over it and just do a bunch of attacks and make our way, with the help of the wall, by wall grabbing, to give us a third jump. So we're gonna come up on our first shop trip of the game. Right now, I can't evade when I'm in the air until I buy the technique that I'm going to. And when I buy an item, which doubles my damage for 15 seconds for certain attacks. Bought that and air dodge, and we're out. Skip the cutscenes. Alright, so now the movement's gonna look like this. If I press and hold the buttons while I'm evading, we'll see bullets spray off. First fight, ragdoll. A little bit of bowling. Pick up the angel weapon, strafe on top of him. Deal massive amounts of damage. I do want the enemies to spawn on a certain side, so go ahead and manipulate that. Kill one of these decorations, so this flail affinity will drop right in front of me. Kill a few more decorations. So this attack that I'm doing right there is called a hand climax. I'm spinning and I'm pressing the punch button, and then I'm just mashing as fast as I can to spray a bunch of bullets, which all lock on and kill the little decorations as they are spawning in. Pick up this angel weapon, and we have another applaud. Shut up. Another angel. He is called a beloved. Say goodbye. He's gone. On his back, he has a weak spot. And using the flail that I picked up from the angel that I torture attacked, I get to deal a massive amount of damage into his health bar. And we have our good friend Gamora that we summon, using our hair as a conduit, since we are a witch, to finish the job. And evade forward, skip through that, and immediately pick up this axe. We'll be using it for the last fight of this chapter. Don't mind me. It's coming on by. Hello, Fortitudo. making yet another guest appearance. His accuracy is quite bad here, but that's okay. I'm gonna do a spin punch, spray a bunch of bullets. Really good RNG. He can completely miss you. And you deal more damage with your bullets when you rush. Love is not happy. Punch, punch, pause, kick. As soon as I say that, I say that. It's okay. Spray a bunch of bullets into their face. If you spray through their face, it'll actually go through his arm and hit him again by hitting like his hand or something. And if you kill him fast enough, he'll only do the one single scripted ridge slam against the wall. If you do it slower, he'll keep slamming the wall until you deplete his health bar. And here's why we brought the axe. He tries to surprise at the bottom of the staircase. We kill him so quickly that it's desynced from the cutscene where he's at the top of the platform. It saves quite a bit of time to kill him as soon as he spawns. And Gamora's back and hungry. Quick time event, which is the big button prompts that you'll see on screen. If you mash buttons during those, you'll get extra currency, which is very nice. Now will be the end of chapter 1. Alright, so chapter 2 is going to go by really quickly. A lot of things happening all at once, but I'll try to make sense of it as we go. The first fight is going to start with a mini-boss fight. Character that is quite familiar to us already. Hello, Jeanne. Not really cooperating today, but that's okay. We take her out when she's stuck in one of the animations. Skip a cutscene. And we're a witch, so we can walk on walls when the moon's out. Like that right there. Doesn't last for long. Bye-bye, moon. Do you like puzzles? Because this is a puzzle. Pick up the witch statue, which gives us witch time, and then we can go through the gate before it closes on us. So moving on to this fight, I intentionally have full bar magic so I can torture attack this affinity. Camera manipulation to get the enemies to clump here. Very good clump. It knocks the bow applaud on the ground. Almost knocked him away. Stand in a very specific area because I want spawns to be a certain way. Very good lineup. Don't you dare. Go ahead and kill him. Torture attack him because I want his bow. Tap taunt. Hello, beloved. Alright, you know what happens when you have that core exposed. And look at my combo points here, by the way. That is a 99. Shoot bullets as he falls away. Really quick combat. And that is a casual 964,000. If you want to know how many halos I get from combat, just take the combo and remove a 0. Here we have a interesting enemy. It's a wheel angel. It's called an End Chapter. We don't see much of them during the run. Rightfully so. Taking that bow. There's 5 different enchants on the wall. I have them off screen to deactivate their AI. Alright, and then we have a beloved who's crying out for help. He's not. And here is reinforcements. and pick that up. Let me do that again. Any wish time, my friend. Alright. So, using angel weapons against large enemies with large health pools is a pretty common occurrence in this game for the early game, because it does massive amounts of damage. Again, with that quick time event, it's slower if you actually land. So I'm going to abstain from pressing any buttons. Alright, so right here on the ground we have what is a record LP. If we go into the shop, we will exchange that for a weapon. And our first shop trip is going to be at the very end of Chapter 2, right before Chapter 3 starts. Very shortly. Which attack that applaud because we want the angel weapon. Alright. We went to church, but Fortitudo is still following us around and wants to butt in. Using the angel weapon, we do massive amounts of damage. So much damage that I am now waiting and unable to deal damage, as you can see in the bottom left health bar. Now I can deal damage. I'm gonna spam a bunch of bullets into his face. Alright. A little bit of a quick time event. That's actually an insta-death if you don't time it correctly. And then we throw it into the fireball and escape. So, moving on to Chapter 3, I'm going to buy quite a bit of things. I'm going to buy as many double damage and invulnerability consumable items that I can. I'm going to buy 3 techniques. Those techniques will be used for combat and out-of-combat mobility, which you'll see very shortly. We got Onyx Roses, which is Shotgun, from changing in an LP, and Cereza, from turning in another LP. I get a Moon Pearl, which gives me 1 more bead of magic, Stiletto, Pets of Zonko, and Afterburner Kick. The red lollipops, the small ones, last for 15 seconds, and the large one lasts for 1 minute. Menu management. Using the large red pop here, I'll be dealing double damage, which a short charge for Cereza is able to deal with these flaming affinities. You don't see many flaming affinities during the speedrun, but if you touch them like that, they will make you recoil and you don't deal any damage to them. It's not fun. It's okay. Alright, so the movement tech is going to be very hard to explain in a short time, so I will touch on that slightly. Just know that everything in this game, pots, bases, enemies, a pane of glass 20 feet above you, can be locked onto. Like right there, I locked on to a vase on the overhang. We have a fun enemy called Fairness. And using this sword weapon, Cereza, I'm able to deal massive amounts of damage with the Punch Kick Punch combo, which does a sword slash like that, which is a Wicked Weave. Activate a small yellow. Lock onto the plant there. Invulnerability gets you through that little lava geyser. Alright. Because I can infinitely evade, I can use my evades to gain momentum as I fall. So the techniques that I bought, Stiletto, it can make you lunge forward and attack with whatever is in your hand. That is Stiletto movement. That is an afterburner kick. A little bit of animation canceling. Double fairness fight. I break line of sight using the fountain, which usually clusters them. That's okay, he bit me. I got my attack off. Don't parry. That's okay. Dispatch the double fairness pretty quickly. And we're going to go into a large section right after this quick time event. Now, after this quick time event, I'm going to go into a small lava corridor. And then I'm going to enter into a large area with a gigantic lava lake. And I can skip to the end of the closed area by traversing over the large lava lake and getting to the very end, instead of what you normally do, which is go into a gate after fighting some angels, and then you go in the gate, and then you repair a bridge that breaks by reversing time, and then you have to go over the bridge, and then you fight angels on the bridge as it's about to fall. That's a mess. So right now I'm using a downward afterburner kick for movement, and I'm using Stiletto, and I'm evading it to cancel out of the animation of the attack. The afterburner kick provides me with momentum, and it keeps my position in the air, so I don't fall down. This can be done when the moon is out with Witch Walk, going up segments like this. You're going to see a lot of that movement for the remainder of the run. There will be one other movement technique that we'll start implementing at the end of Chapter 5 as well. So, ending Chapter 3, we're going to go into our first major boss fight, which will be against a large angel that we've seen a few times now, Fortitudo. The fight's actually going to take place in a coliseum, as you saw at the end of Chapter 3. And there's a few strategies that we implement versus Fortitudo. Using our lock-on system, I'm able to punch, kick, and punch from afar. Kick, punch, punch, kick, punch. You can see the foot and the sword hit him from afar. Because we're fighting a large angel, we are in what is called serious mode. So all of my attacks have a Wicked Weave that accompanies them, which is really cool. So we did so much damage so fast that we've already gone to the next phase. He's going to perch. I'm going to activate 15 seconds of vulnerability with the consumable. And I'm going to get where the fire emanates from. That saves us from doing about a 9-second waiting and then a parkour section where I jump on a bunch of platforms and then grab them and suplex them on the ground like I've done so far. Being there immediately allows us to grab him for free. But you have to use invulnerability, otherwise you will fail. I'm going to do 2 Tetsuzankos, which is a Wicked Weave without a combo, to lock on and hit him very quickly. Those consume 3 orbs of magic when I launch them. Okay, wicked time. Knock him down with another Tetsu. Tetsu short for Tetsuzanko. And use the shotguns on my hands and feet to do massive amounts of damage. It is actually slower if you were to grab him with the prompted QTE on screen whenever he falls and is dizzy. Same thing as before. Wait for him to perch. Grab him. And chuck him to the ground. You can say that Fortitudo is not having that good of a time. Also, if you want to know how many times that I'm mashing the QTE button, you can divide that number where it says TA by 5. Every press gives you 5 combo. Because the counter can exceed 90 damage, which isn't too helpful if you're still trying to counter. So we're permanently stuck in Witch Time right here. Pretty good pattern. He did actually hit me for that. That's okay. Wait for him to body slam again. Unload into him. No big deal. And there we go. That is the end of the boss fight. But we're not done with Fortitudo. We're going to call in the help of our good demon using our hair as a conduit. His name is Malphus. He's pretty violent. Skip through that cutscene pretty quickly. Alright, so we are about to enter the hardest chapter of the game. During a casual playthrough, this is definitely when people sit down and reevaluate their life decisions. Because Chapter 5 does not play around. There's going to be quite a few new enemy introductions as well. Very, very quickly, back to back. You get a better, clear example of the movement that I'm doing without a bunch of noise in the background. Alright, first enemy, new type, Grace and a Fury. Grace is more of the red boss. Usually want to kill him, but that's okay. The red claws are the strongest. I get Witch Time and do a spin kick to make them collide into each other because they make contact damage when they hit one another. Okay. And then we have Fearless and Fairness accompanied together. Punch kick punches with Shiraba for massive amounts of damage. Take care of them pretty quick. This is one of the few sections where I actually stay in the air as the cutscene ends, and I have my jumps reset. So, turning this dial changes the time of day. It's now nighttime. Don't ask. Alright, so I can infinitely evade and reach terminal velocity to ascend very quickly. Kill Grace, the red one, so we get the claws. And then we have a cool new enemy that we don't see much. I'm kind of glad we don't see more of them. Their name is Farmer. Go ahead and take care of them. Alright. With that LP piece, we now have 2 of 3. Activate invulnerability to ascend up the staircase without any issue. Oh, land on the platform. Alright. And then now we have an introduction to a new enemy called the Ardor. Using a red lollipop for double damage. And using the Grace Claws, we do massive amounts of damage. Okay. Specific setup here for good movement. So I can actually ascend up the side of the tower based off my initial positioning, was at such an angle where I can actually just fall up the tower, especially with Witch Walk setting my orientation. Really cool. Take care of yet another Grace and Glory fight. The third one so far. Which time? Okay. Grab onto the wall to get up here. Here is the third and final record piece. Yet another enemy. We actually saw them in the very beginning segment called the Records of Time. Small cameo. This enemy is called an enchant. Sorry, inspired. We knock them down with a Tetsuzanko and immediately just obliterate them with a red lollipop and Durga. Alright, go to the shop trip. I promise it was there. Can't see it because I'm skipping through so fast. I now have that weapon that I've been collecting this chapter, which is called Durga. Hello, inspired. Don't mind me. Another sneak peek for a boss we'll be fighting later on. His name is Sapientia. Insanely hard platforming section right here. Switch weapon. Another Jeanne boss fight. AI manipulation, shooting bullets at her. She's not really cooperating today. She is very aggressive. Wow. Okay. Alright, so let's get the cutscene really quick, you couldn't see it. I can now transform into what is called Panther form. For Jeanne, it's a bit different, actually. It's technically Link's form. For Bayonetta, it is Panther form, and then she has a bird form called Crow form. I have an owl form instead. The first time we are doing angle attack, I aim in between the bottom of the cross and the bottom crosshair, because the heads of the affinities are a little offset from a normal head position. The little red thing is the head. Going for 120 points. That's okay, we got 110.
Round over.
I'm going to be buying 3 Magic Flutes with that. Magic Flutes are a consumable item that deal massive amounts of damage to all enemies basically on screen. And I'll be using that for one of our speedrun skips as well in the following chapter. Small shop trip. Shop trip 2 of 3. Alright. Techniques we'll be buying is Owl Within, which lets us turn into an owl in the air. And a lock-on, where I can dash to an enemy now. Here is Panther form. Links. I'll be saying Panther. And I now have, as you can see, the incredibly powerful weapon, Durga, on my feet, which produce these large bombs that deal massive amounts of damage and can kill any small enemy in its impact radius. Small little puzzle room, I guess you'd call it. Here's a skip. Almost got it the first try. A little too low. There's a magical barrier if you're coming too high. Completely skip over that. Saves a good minute, actually. Go ahead and break that. Pull the lever. And you can see Durga just doing insane amounts of damage. So the way I'm doing so much damage with the Durga weapon is as you progress further through the combo chain, you start dealing more damage with the bombs. Gotta pick up those claws. Try to catch Racing Glory as they spawn. Stomp on his head. He keeps jumping over my trip, which is unfortunate because of the elevation of the stairs. No big deal. Alright. So this is a small section that we're actually protecting a child called Cereza. You'll see it right there in the little dome. As long as we're aggressive with the enemies, they will ignore her and fight us, which is very nice. I'm using a little bit of camera manipulation to prevent any enemies from spawning far away in those corners of the room, which would be a big hassle here. Okay. Oh, little Cereza. Goodbye, little Cereza. I'm performing what is called the Cereza Ditch. Now, normally in this section, you would be tethered to little Cereza and you couldn't progress, but having her be so far away from you whenever she teleports to you during the start of the segment, you are no longer tethered to her and you can progress, which saves a good 40 seconds. So now we're in the Paradise Dimension because we went through that portal. I'm going to do punch, kick. Punch. I stepped out. That's okay. You are able to maintain your combo in between certain introductions or certain transitions, such as that. I'm using punch, kick, punch in Tetsuzanko to launch Wicked Weaves from afar, and I'm actually able to hit the core on his back, even though he's very far away from me. And you know what happens when a beloved team is gone. Alright, so there's a halo above their head. That's not us. That's actually an angel, so I'm going to chase her through this as she throws laser pillars at me. Alright. Who is this imposter? It is an angel called a Joy. As you can tell, they have the ability to dodge with invulnerability frames, they can parry you. They have various weapons, as you do as well. So you can be quite a chore to deal with. A little bit of movement as we exit out of Paradise and go back into reality. So this next chapter, we are going to go into yet another angel boss fight. None other than the one who is controlling wind, Sapientia. I'm going to be doing a technique called jump uppercut cancels. You'll see it here. In between every in between every uppercut, I'm jumping and pressing the lock-on button, you see him also attacking from before. A little bit unlucky RNG. That's fine. We want to get hit because it saves time. But in between every single uppercut, I'm using lock-on, and I'm holding back against the orientation of the enemy, and I'm pressing punch. To do the jump uppercut cancels like that, I have to let go of lock-on while I'm jumping, and then do the uppercut animation again. And I have to do it very strict timing, otherwise I will jump into the air, or the game will read that I'm pressing and holding punch and let me rise as I do that. So, here we are. Temperantia has someone who has met his match. Hecatoncheck. Completely rips an arm off. Pretty good pattern on the second one. Right at threshold. Right here at Tetsuzanko, I'm locking onto the orb. And then punch, get punch to seal the deal. Gut punch. Here we have arm number 2. Right. So now there are 3 spheres that I want to break. Lock on, punch, kick, punch. Tetsuzanko. And the Tetsuzanko input is a backwards forward punch as well. So I'm doing punch, kick, punch, evade, backward, forward, punch, evade. And I have to make sure that I have the correct orientation to where I'm going. We broke the orbs that were protecting his head. Punch, 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 kick. Weapon swap. Look at the health bar in the bottom right. So, that is a fun little technique using the Durga on feet that allows me to spray a bunch of bullets on the alternative weapon set on my feet. Because in this game, you have loadouts. You can hot swap between weapons, and specifically for the kicking attack, at the end of that combo chain, you're able to fire a ridiculous amount of bullets, which deal, as you saw, almost 2 health bars with 2 separate instances of that attack. Alright, so we're about to move on into I would say my favorite chapter in the whole game. It's my favorite chapter because it's the shortest. Chapter 8. So, diagonal, evade, Tetsuzanko, Panther, Magic Flute. Kill all those angels with the Magic Flute. Punch, 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 kick. Kick. Panther, jump, evade. Kill the Ardor. And there they are. We have 3 joys that spawn in. I go to the wall to manipulate their AI to teleport to me because I'm too far away from them. They are acting quite erratic. Alright, take care of them pretty quickly. Introduction to an angel called Irene. So, end the speedrun. Besides that cutscene, we never see it. It's time to go vroom. Menu, Magic Flute, Panther, do a 180. We go behind the finish line. And in what would be a 6-minute segment in a matter of seconds. introduction for what are called the Graves. Now, they're actually a pretty interesting enemy. You don't get to see much of what they can do during the speedrun, but they can actually pair together if you don't kill them fast enough. They do a pose that is identical to the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z, which is really cool. And then they fuse together into a very large beloved. Alright, so you don't get to see it because we skipped the cutscene so fast, but as the bridge is falling, it's exploding, we get transported into paradise. And the blocks say Bayo as well, which is really nice. Bayo short for Bayonetta. We're now in paradise. Completely different dimension. So I'm gonna come here, out of my way, to get this LP piece, which will give us the last weapon we will want for the run. It will be a rocket launcher. Perform a skip here. We skip a fight by just jumping onto the segment, or jumping onto the platform. Kill all these enemies. Grab the key. Key in the keyhole. I love this animation play. It's very pretty. Weapon swap while gravity is being reversed, instead of going up that platform. If you like Indiana Jones, you'll like this. Sad news, invisible wall. I jump over it. And then I will just traverse to the end. Scripted jump over. Unload that by switching cutscene. I do 3 steps forward into a stiletto. Break the cog. Do a little bit of circles. And running along platform is for chumps. So we have a big thing that's trying to smush up. It's called Golem. Panther offset, punch, kick, punch. Very unfavorable rotation. Why are you that far? That's okay. Dispatch of that fairness. Perform a skip here. Ooh, a little too short. We have an enemy called Kinship. Not much to them. They are Kinship. This enemy is so unfun that Lady Gaga tweeted about them twice. Alright. I'm gonna do a spin kick with Durga on my feet. Activate invulnerability lollipop. This time I evade. I'm gonna wait for the platform to change its location. I'm going to break the statue into a torture attack as he's flying up. Very specific movement and cycle that I catch here. You can shapeshift. It's actually an Umbran weapon. being used against us. So instead of hitting the climax button, I'm going to deplete his health bar 3 times, which saves a solid 35 seconds. Otherwise, you would have Hecatonk Share just knock him around like a pinball and just destroy him. I'd recommend actually looking up that torture attack, or the climax, if you want to. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of personality. Still in Paradiso. Sea of Stars. Open up with 3 joys. That was a very good fight. They're actually cooperating. Alright. Get a specific lineup here. A little too far on the side, as I fell. That's okay. We're missing one more cog piece. Harmony. Goodbye. Alright, so we have an alternative version of Fortitudo. Quite small, quite squishy, dies very fast. And then alternative version of Sapientia. Take them out really quickly. Charge Raba, go into Panther. I'm still holding the punch button. Release. Few Inspires. I actually farmed them for magic. And here we have 3 kinship. We don't want to fight them. Nobody wants to fight them. And what do we have here? Don't want any of that. Alright, alternative version of Grace and Glory, which is called Gracious and Glorious. Very much harder version to fight, because they disable conventional means of acquiring Witch Time. So if I was to evade reactionarily and turn into a bunch of moths, I still would not get Witch Time versus them. The only way to get Witch Time is by the means of accessories. Perform a skip here. Saves a solid minute. That was a very good Sea of Stars. Alright, so we're going to be going into a small pre-fight before our 3rd Angel boss fight. Cardinal Virtue of Justice. Diagonal evade. I want that flail. Goodbye, Mr. Ardor, and all the accompanying affinities. Jump uppercut cancels. So instead of traversing the entire tongue, head, whatever you want to call it, I am able to jump at a very certain area of the tongue, do a quick evade out of Pinball, turn into a owl, and then the rest of the tongue will elongate and basically put me, it'll put me like right at the base of the tongue. It saves a good 8 or so seconds. It does vary on time. Activate a red with a flail. Massive amounts of damage. Proceed to the next phase. Justice would normally smash the platform. I'd have to let him smash the 4 platforms or so. Then he would face me. But falling off. And then resetting the fight that way. Proceeding to the next phase by doing enough damage to hit the threshold. Prevents that. Good 15-second time save for both times. You know the drill. Spin to fall fast. Evade. I'm activating a red right here. Uppercut, 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 uppercut. Flail. HP threshold is 1. Aim right for like the crown. Didn't get enough height, but that's okay. Doing that is quite hard, I won't lie. The timing is super strict. I only found that about a month, 3 weeks ago. I'm still learning. Consistency is key. Smack him in the nose. And we are going to send other than very Scolopendra. Gigantic symbol. And we're just gonna smush Justice. Skip a few cutscenes and goodbye. All right. Going on to the Broken Sky. We're on a military transport Valkyrie. When we break into this here, acquire Magic Flute. Break these doors, jump onto the cargo, spin Durga. Very good that I killed Glory doing that, because Glory has a bleed out animation. At the end of the bleed out animation, he then finally counts as being dead. So I'm actually able to deplete the health bar of Glory before I actually kill Grace. Or before Glory technically dies and would drop his claws. We'll skip here. Let's do that again. Can be done crowless, as all skips in this game. So this is a gigantic time save here. I'm going to hit a fight trigger for Jeanne. Walk right here. Walk away. It's not really cooperating. Oh no. Okay. I'm actually going to restart a chapter, because I believe that will save time doing that. Let me make sure I'm okay here. Okay, there we go. No big deal. I accidentally fell into the fight trigger that I was trying to avoid. And it is honestly faster to reset the chapter completely than to go through that fight. Dispatch of that. Do that again. Come here, walk away. There we go. That's how it should go. Because I'm walking away from her, she wants to hit me with a wicked leap. So she stands still, tanks a hit, and doing this skips like 3 separate boss phases. Saves so much time fighting her. And then we grab little Cereza, who is aboard the military transport Valkyrie this whole time. And do what we can to protect her from these angels. Don't you dare. Alright. Use Umbran Spear. One got away from me, but that's okay. Go ahead and kill all the harmonies. Right. Pretty small chapter. Specifically because we skip an entire lengthy boss fight with Jeanne. Let me make sure my splits are okay, because I always have them off screen, so I don't pay attention to them. Yes, they're good. Cool. There's a very specific fight setup that I do here. Break one knee. Didn't get it. Bait out a range attack. Come to that knee there. Land a Tetsuzanko. Break that. Get witch time. Didn't get it. That's okay. There we go. We take care of Sapientia. Here's our good demon buddy, Phantasmarene. Sapientia is afraid of spiders. And if you are a Devil May Cry fan, Phantasmarene might look familiar if you know Phantom. Pretty hard to deny reference there. Early dive, which is really good. We go ahead and rage him by taunting him, which speeds up the animation of him trying to fight us. This should be pretty quick. Kind of unlucky there. That's okay. He did 2 bites, which is the worst attack that we could ask for, as it puts his face in a way that's hard to hit. Very close to threshold. It's no big deal. Round 2. Skip this cutscene. So we have 1 invulnerability lollipop left. We have an angel core on his face. Hitting it with punch, kick, punch. And activate invulnerability. That's his Zonko, punch, kick, punch. I'm able to hit him from this far away. And that is the end of the boss fight. Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way to his face. In melee range, but we can attack him from afar. Concluding that boss fight, we are going to go into the largest segment of the run.
Such a disappointment.
It's going to be a 7-minute auto-scroller. Before that, though, we're going to take our last shop trip of the run. Isla del Sol. Translates to Island of the Sun by Celine's Light. All right. And here we go. So, if you know of a game called Space Harrier, a very old game made by Sega, this entire segment is an homage to that game. I believe it even has identical enemy patterns for certain segments. It's going to comprise of me mashing 2 buttons to be able to shoot as fast as I can. Dispatch these enemies on screen. And I also have rockets I can shoot for 1 map. There's going to be 3 separate boss fights within this. 4, actually. It will be very hard to miss whenever it happens. This boss fight is just one inspired. Bye-bye. The theme for this is also called Space Harrier, I believe. Couldn't see him, but that was a Fortitudo clone, the small one. Another variation of the Beloved. You don't see much of them. It's the only time you see them in the game. But they do shoot fireballs from their gun. Not RNG on their location. Hello, Kinship. Also, you can actually see where I'm moving to using the back little 4 thrusters on the missile. They move in inverse of what I'm actually moving to. Alright, we're almost there. As the music gets ominous. And we have this boss symbol. Going to do inventory management, activate invulnerability lollipop, and mash fast like it. Alright, so at the end of this, I'm going to now go into a Jeanne boss fight, the last one of the game. Right weapon set I'm going to shoot as I spawn in. That makes her guard. Trigger. Nice. There's quite a few phases to this, but I have equipped an accessory called Celine's Light. Once I get hit, it will consume up to 4 magic and give me witch time based off how much magic was consumed. before. A little bit of AI manipulation to get her to the point. Alright, so we're getting near the end. The next chapter, which will be called Tower of Truth, is going to be more so like a mash of everything so far. Basically like a montage of all the enemies that we fought so far. Everything that we've done so far has led up to this moment. So you're going to see every single enemy we've fought basically return here for the final time. And we also have flaming ardors. Dispatch of these graves. We have droids. Thank you, Celine's light. Get a trip on her. Get her pretty quickly. And then I'm taking this axe that I got from the Braves. It is very useful right now. Don't move too fast. That is the smaller variation of Temperantia called Temperance. Lock on Tetsu Tetsu. Get on the turret. We're going to be doing what we can to cause him to have a stagger animation like that, or go recoil. That decides a lot of what we're doing here. After the first HP bar has been depleted, didn't get the stagger right before, and that's okay. Force the stagger out right here. That's his Zonko. Should stagger again. If you stagger him, you will prevent him from being able to shoot the little green missiles at you. Witch Walk is enabled because the moon is out. Unnecessary QTE, falling out a little better. Activate a small red here. Jump in front of Justice's face. Complete the health bar. It wasn't able to get it, but that's okay. That's his Zonko here. bye. Alright, we have the statue of Jubileus. Right in the dead center of this entire building. Hello, Golem. Use Umbran Spear to lock on. Do massive amounts of damage. Goodbye, Golem. Alright, we've descended almost to the top of the Tower of Truth. Beautiful moon. Not done yet. Using dog offset with Panther form. And a last Tetsu Zonko, which Rob in hand. These are actually filled with witch blood. Break those. Let's just float to the top. Alright, almost there. It was a very good chapter 5, or chapter 15. All right, so chapter 16, the Lumen Sage. A little bit of bad RNG there. That's okay. Thank you, Killboard. Phase 1 completed. We have our Demon Summon Grimoire. Let's see what we can do here. The Lumen Sage Balder is very powerful. Also, in his chest, that is indeed little baby Cereza. Don't pay a lot of attention to that. Ignore that. Let's go with Pendro. What do you have? Still not enough. And he combs his hair, mockingly as well. Alright, gotta aim the bullet through the broken glass.
Such a disappointment.
Alright, so we're going to move on into the last section of the game. And if you're playing as Bayonetta instead of Jeanne, this is the one section of the game where you're forced into playing Jeanne. I have skipped every cutscene possible, so it's hard to make sense of why, but Baldur has captured Bayonetta, and we are riding up the rocket that was in the center of the Tower of Truth. The rocket is actually the statue of Jubileus, who is the creator. And Baldur's plan was to take the left eye of the Umbran Witches, which is Bayonetta, and Baldur acting as the right eye of the Lumen Sages. And together, they are able to control Jubileus. And Jeanne, this entire time, has been in mind control. The one we've been fighting, not the one we've been fighting. And in this section, Jeanne is riding a big motorcycle on the rocket as it is entering the atmosphere into space to save her friend, Bayonetta, her childhood friend. And the song that's playing right now is called Friend. There's Earth. And the rocket, as you can tell, is breaking apart further and further as it leaves Earth. Here we are ascending the statue of Jubileus. As we are going to rip Bayonetta out of the eye. And here she is, Jubileus herself. She has a bunch of hair tendrils that will be dealing damage to. Very good RNG early on. We reach a threshold, which puts us into the fire phase. Take that. The fire sprout. Lock on punch, kick, punch. Break all 4 tendrils. And as you've seen already, you can do a foot uppercut, which will launch a rocket up to her face and hit her during various phases. Next phase, the ice phase. Invulnerability lollipop here. Enough magic, Tetsuzanko. At the end of every pair being broken, at the end of the phase, it will deplete one entire ball of magic. So, that one I was able to gain enough magic to use the Tetsuzanko in that hair tank. Last, also you can hit the hair tendril at the very end, which, if you've already reached the HP threshold, then it doesn't matter. I don't know. Alright. Last phase. 1, 2. I got there so fast, it has to recheck if it is in position as it should be. Scripted platforming segment, we're just waiting on the cycle to continue. Turn around 180. Tetsuzanko. Jubileus is actually a very immature god. She's very young compared to most gods. So a lot of her poses you'll see her is her holding herself. Not the best, not the worst move she can do. I have to juke these. And keep it launching. Kicks up at her face. No damage there. Next phase. Right. Complete RNG, which she does here. Gives me a pretty decent attack. Go. Alright, so normally we would ascend this gigantic hair, whatever you want to call it. But I do one neutral evade backwards, invulnerability lollipop, and just keep launching rocket kicks into her face. And that is a Jubileus fight. Summon using Bayonetta and Jeanne's hair combo, black and white respectively. We summon Queen Shiva. She is the Queen of Inferno. Jubileus' soul out of her body. And then now, we're in such deep space, we've actually exited our solar system, and we have to bob and weave through all of these planets and try to launch Jubileus into the sun. If you hit any planet along the way, it's an immediate game over. Alright, so Jubileus' soul has been knocked into the sun. Her statue body is plummeting back to Earth, and if it collides with Earth, it will destroy the whole planet. Not done. So we have this entire credit scene where we're still going to play fights during it. There's 4 fights. The first 3 fights, it doesn't matter if you finish them or not. The 4th fight is what determines when the end of the run happens. So whenever the last enemy is fought and killed, which will be a beloved, that's when time ends. Alright, here's the last fight. 3, 2, 1. Bye, beloved. Time's there. Alright, well that has been Bayonetta. I hope you've enjoyed it. Not a perfect run, but it doesn't always have to be. And hopefully commentary was very insightful, because there's a lot of things going on during the run. At all times. Constantly. And there's always more efficiencies that can be found. So, I love this game, and I hope you've enjoyed this. See you later.